Every step you take builds a better you.
Hi, welcome back. I'm Sharon from BestSelf. I'm a licensed marriage and family therapist, a life coach, and a personal trainer who offers walking psychotherapy and coaching out on nature trails. Today I'm here to talk about reframing an experience that didn't quite go your way so that you have the energy and the motivation to pull yourself together and move forward again. The reason why I'm doing this is because I competed in another figure competition last weekend and it just didn't go quite as I planned, and I'm basically doing this for myself to reframe it, and I thought that you guys could benefit from seeing how I'm going to take this experience and reframe it. So what this will do is help me and maybe help you process something a little bit faster. It helps you reframe it and it helps you move forward into a positive direction. So one of the things that you're going to do when you have an experience that doesn't quite go your way or a problem to be solved, you want to list what that problem is in a nutshell. So for example, I competed in my third figure competition last weekend, and my goal was to try to get first place to go pro. However, even though I think I look good and I did everything great, I was a little bit disorientated because I didn't have water, and when it came time for me to go up on stage, I wasn't dressed and I wasn't tan, so I actually missed my event. And I framed that as a real negative because even though they let me go up in the evening and they placed me, I definitely got deducted for that, and I could have done a lot better. So I'm going to look at the thoughts behind what happened and what I did. So when I looked at that, I come up with thoughts like, well, I should have been ready. I should have tanned the night before. I should have not been outside walking around exercising. Even though I came back ahead of the time, the show ran ahead of schedule. So my first line of thoughts are all about what I should have done differently. And that's a bit of a masking type thought, because underneath the thought about, hey, you should have done this differently, or I should have done this differently, if you look at my finger, it's me pointing one finger towards I should be doing this or you should be doing this, but the three other fingers are pointing back at me. So that's a little bit of a distraction type of thought. So when I think back at the fingers that are pointing back towards me, I need to look at this at a deeper level and get out my thought distortions and pinpoint what I'm thinking and how it is a thought distortion. For example, one of the things I'm going to think is that I failed because I feel like I failed, I did fail, and that's a fact. So that's a thought distortion called feelings are facts. Another thought distortion I'm going to have is overgeneralization, that because something went wrong in the past sometimes I've been wrong, I've missed something, I've shown up late for things, and I've messed up in that way. So I'm going to say I'm always going to be late, I'm always going to mess things up. And I'm also going to reject the positive here. I'm going to be looking at this like, wow, I had an opportunity to come in first, but I really blew it and I didn't. And I'm going to overlook the fact that I met my goals, I overshot my goals, and basically I did everything that I set out to do. So those are three thoughts that I've done. I've overgeneralized, I thought feelings were facts, and I rejected the positive and only focused on the negative. Another thing that I would throw in there, because I water deprived myself, and I did that on purpose. I definitely wanted to see what it was going to be like for me to follow what I needed to do to be at my best for this competition. But I definitely dropped my water for 3 or 4 days down to what was pretty unhealthy. And by the time of Saturday hit, I was really loopy and just really wasn't quite right. So there was another thought distortion that was hoping for heaven's reward. And that thought distortion has to do with I sacrificed, I gave up water, I reduced my water intake for 3 or 4 days, and I ate, I gave up my carbohydrates, I gave up my fat, I was just eating chicken and tilapia, gave up lots of calories, stopped working out. I did all these things to sacrifice for this goal. So it's feeling like, the thought has to do with feeling like you've done so much and you've sacrificed so much, yet you're not getting anything in return. You're not getting any appreciation. You blow it anyhow. Other people don't say, wow, you did a great job of going 4 days without hardly any water and hardly any food, and you look great because of it. Nobody acknowledged me for that. So that would be the fourth thought distortion that I have. So one of the things I'm going to do is I'm going to identify what thoughts I was thinking, and then I'm going to look up the thought distortions. There are 14 different thought distortions, and the reasoning for doing that is because it helps take the power out of the thought and you can see it as a distorted thought. And that's super important because you want to be able to see the thought for what it is so that you can reframe it. So when you look at the thoughts and you identify the thought distortions, what you're going to do is take each thought and look at the cost of the thoughts and the benefits of the thought. So if I go back to, I'll go backwards, the thought seeking heaven's reward, and that would be the thought that since I made personal sacrifice, I expect it to be acknowledged for it. I expected it to pay off. What's the benefit of that thought? It doesn't really benefit me. It makes me feel like a mourner. It makes me feel like I did a lot, but I didn't get anything out of it. It makes me feel like a victim. You know, that cost me the ability to be able to bring myself to that level to do that kind of behavior again, because I'm going to think that it wasn't worth it for me to go without the water, without the food, and train as hard as I did. And in reality, that's not true. So that's really important, to be able to look at the cost and the benefit of each thought. If I look at another thought, overgeneralization, that was the second one, I'm always late. I've been late in the past, and I was late for this event, and it's going to happen again in future events. The cost of that thought is I'm not going to want to try again. I'm going to think, well, geez, I'm just going to be late again. Why even bother? Maybe the benefits of that cost, that thought would be that I might plan ahead and get ahead of schedule and plan for being late and have some push time. So I can think of some benefits for that thought. The thought that feelings are facts, that I think that I failed, that's going to cost me my willpower. That's going to cost me whether or not I go for it again. It's definitely going to bring me down and make me feel like I'm getting sick, make me feel like I just want to take a little vacation from this and not really try again. So that's not a very beneficial thought. So basically, the cost of the thoughts far outweigh the benefits. What I'd like to do instead is look at it in two different ways. I'd like to back up and look at the experience about what I liked about what I did, training for this event and the whole process of the competition. If I listed what I liked about it, I would say that my lean muscle mass came in 1.6 pounds higher than my goal, which I thought was a pretty unachievable goal. So I thought that was outrageous. My body fat percentage came in 0.4% higher than last time, which I also thought was great because I had gained 2 pounds lean muscle mass and kept my body fat just about the same. I really wanted to follow and do what I set out to do in regards to the water depletion, the carb loading, all the diet changes that I did. And I did a really great job with that. I really wanted to train consistently, and I did that. And I really wanted to practice posing a different way. So I did all of those things, and that's really beneficial. I also really loved the competition. I loved the ladies that I competed against. They were fantastic. They were very positive. They were uplifting. They were beyond beautiful. I felt so proud to be up there on stage with them. The whole experience of how we connected and how that was for me to meet other people that are pursuing the same passion and the same goals was just a priceless experience. So those are all the things that I liked about what I did and that were good about the experience. The other thing I'm going to look at is what are some things that I would do differently next time to do a little better? Well, quite frankly, I would do a couple things differently next time. I think I would plan more time to get ready. I would work it out with my daughter who's doing my makeup, more time, and negotiate it with her how much time she needed to do my makeup. I would basically not take off when they told me that they weren't available to tan me right there. I would not take off. I would hang around there and wait to get in rather than go outside and be out in nature. I think I also wouldn't water deprolate so much because it put me in a really loopy state of mind where I just wanted to be outside in nature and calm myself down. And so I think I like that I did it, but I don't think I'd do that to the same extent next time. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at what worked about the situation, what I liked about it, and what are some things that I could have done differently. In addition to being on time, being there for the tan, and making sure that I got in, I think I might have listened to some affirmations before, and I think I would have liked to have thought about what I wanted from the whole experience besides just going for first place. I think I should have focused in on how I wanted to benefit from the whole experience, the deeper meaning of why I was doing that. That way it would give me a little bit of a cushion if I didn't get first place. So then after thinking about what you would do differently and what you liked about it, you're going to think about one small change that you would make in each area. I would also look at it as reframing it. I got second place in my age group and I got third place overall. The competition was just beautiful. I loved every moment of it. And I'm really, really, really proud that I did what I needed to do. I followed some criteria that was really hard for me to follow, and I met my own personal goals. And to me, that's more valuable than winning first place by far. So this whole process was about me explaining how things didn't quite go the way that I wanted them to go. I had the opportunity to reframe it and to a positive mode. And I did that by taking a look at the negative thoughts that I was thinking, looking at how these negative thoughts benefit me and what the cost of the thoughts are, and pulling it apart and looking at the things that I did well and what are some things that I would want to do differently next time? And you work on that small step. Thank you for joining me. Make sure you like it. Make sure you leave your comments about how you reframe a situation that didn't quite go your way.
Remember, every step you take builds a better you.